guys, here we go. So chapter 2, getting it out of the mud. Things are going to be different. So in this chapter, I'm going to talk a lot about making choices. You know, in chapter 1, I referenced a lot of evaluating where you're at and the struggle. And in chapter 2, I think that's one of those critical chapters when I was writing this and reflecting back, is there's a time when you reflect, and then there's a time when you make choices and decisions. And I'm all about that. That's kind of my deal. There's a time when you look at something and you say, I don't want to be here. This is not where I want to be. So I'm going to pivot. I'm going to change. I'm going to make things different. And so getting it out of the mud, going to be different. This chapter is all about that. You know, as you look at things and you start thinking, I'm not supposed to be here. This is not where I want to be. Freedom and choices was always my big thing. I wanted to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. And I didn't want to have restrictions. I wanted to create and design something that I could do whatever I wanted to do. I know this sounds silly, but you know, these are the things that really built me and made me early on back in the day. Is I wanted to go to the grocery store and buy whatever I wanted. I remember watching like those commercials on the one channel that we used to get back in the day at home, and like those children that were starving, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to feed the world. I want to be able to make enough and do enough to help those people. So driven and ambitious, don't apologize for that. You know, and whenever you decide like, this is going to be different, you make a decision. You know, I talk about this frequently. Interested is when you get all excited, and I'm all about motivation and inspiration. There's a time and place for all that, but then there's an execution point, and that execution point is when you're done just thinking about it, just praying about it, just watching other people do it, and you go, I'm making a decision. I'm not just interested, I'm committed. I'm going to do this. I'm going to articulate, I'm going to design, and I'm going to create a life that I want. You know, and making that decision and making those choices. See, I'm going to talk a lot about how to and what I did and the logistics of it. But before you can get into the doing, you have to make sure that you believe that you can do it, that you're going to do it. I used to say all the time, other than the rapture, watch me do it. Other people's opinion. You got to have mentorship. Oh my gosh, you got to have mentors in your life, people who pour into you, people who sharpen you and make you better. But people's opinions, who are they? Like that, I didn't worry about that. I put my blinders on, I got in my lane, and I was off to the races. I was going to build and create. So going to be different, going to change my situation. And that's exactly what I executed on. No matter what it is, going back to school, you know, getting your PhD, starting the company, you know, fitness, whatever your it is. Interested is doing it when it's convenient. Committed is when you're not going to stop. You're going to fall. You're going to fall. You're going to have obstacles. But that has nothing to do with where you're going. You're absolutely going to execute until you get there. And that's part of the journey. And the journey is what makes it awesome. So chapter 2, getting it out of the mud, going to be different. So what's your different? What are you going to make different? What do you want to change? What do you want to grow on? What do you want to evolve on? What do you want to create, explode, build an empire, change the world? What fuels you? What's your passion? It's a decision. Even at that early age, 12, 13 years old, I knew I was built for more. I knew that this wasn't where I was supposed to be. And it was that simple, not easy, but it was that simple. It was a mentality, and that mentality will serve you well in whatever you do, because when you make a decision, you're not just interested, coulda, shoulda, woulda. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. And you're not going to stop until you complete it. You're going to fall down. You're going to miss the mark. You're going to get back up, and you're going to continue going. And you're going to do it with a positive attitude. So that'll be chapter 2, and I'm super excited to bring that to you. Getting it out of the mud, going to be different.